The rhythmic clatter of mahjong tiles echoes from a hidden alleyway, mingling with the distant hum of a bustling metropolis. A lone, gnarled plum tree, ancient and resilient, blossoms defiantly against a backdrop of gleaming skyscrapers. The scent of jasmine tea hangs in the cool morning air. For millennia, this land has cradled a wisdom that has shaped billions, a philosophy that continues to resonate across continents and centuries. We speak of a profound understanding, born not of fleeting trends, but of enduring principles. A wisdom so fundamental, so universal that one might ask, what if our very perspective, our lens on life, were subtly yet profoundly shifted? What if, as the intriguing thought suggests, everything would have more validity if instead of being American, I were a little old Chinese man? This film will journey through time and thought, exploring how the humility, the deep respect for tradition, and the pursuit of timeless wisdom, often associated with classical Chinese philosophy, can offer a transformative lens through which to view our own lives and the world around us. We will uncover why embracing a broader, more ancient viewpoint can enrich our understanding, not just of history, but of ourselves. The air thick with the metallic tang of war, the spring and autumn period, roughly 771 to 476 BCE, was an era of unprecedented fragmentation in ancient China. Feudal states, once loosely bound by the Zhou dynasty, now clashed relentlessly, their ambitions carving a landscape of constant strife. From the Yellow River plains to the southern reaches of the Yangtze, the cries of battle and the laments of the displaced were the soundtrack of daily life. Villages burned, alliances fractured, and the very fabric of society seemed to unravel. Amidst this chaos, the common people suffered, caught between the whims of warring lords. It was a time when the pursuit of power overshadowed the welfare of the populace, a period of profound moral and social decay. In the small state of Lu, nestled in what is now Shandong province, a child named Confucius, later known as Confucius, was born around 551 BCE. Legend tells of his birth in a cave on Mount Nai, a humble beginning for a man whose ideas would one day reshape an entire civilization. His father, a valiant soldier, passed away when Confucius was young, leaving his mother to raise him in poverty. This early hardship forged in him a deep empathy for the suffering of ordinary people and a relentless drive for self-improvement. He was a diligent student, devouring ancient texts and mastering the 6 arts: rites, music, archery, charioteering, calligraphy, and mathematics. One of the most defining moments in his early life came with the death of his mother. Confucius observed a period of intense mourning, a ritual that many found excessive even for the time. This profound dedication to filial piety, to honoring one's parents and ancestors, became a cornerstone of his later philosophy. It was a public display of his commitment to the ancient rites, a silent protest against the moral decay he witnessed around him. This deep respect for tradition and ritual, exemplified in his personal life, was not merely an adherence to custom, but a profound belief in their power to cultivate inner virtue and social harmony. As a young man, Confucius held minor government positions, managing granaries and supervising pastures. Yet, his true calling lay in teaching. He gathered disciples around him, a diverse group from various social strata, and imparted his wisdom not through rigid dogma, but through dialogue and example. He believed that education was not just for the elite, but for anyone with the desire to learn. This revolutionary idea democratized knowledge and laid the foundation for a meritocratic society. His teachings were often delivered in informal settings, under the shade of a tree or during a quiet walk, making philosophy accessible and deeply personal. The political turmoil deepened, and Confucius, disheartened by the moral failings of the rulers in Lu, embarked on a long journey, an odyssey that would last over a decade. He traveled from state to state, seeking a ruler who would implement his vision of good governance based on moral principles. His path took him first to the state of Wei, where he was initially welcomed, but his frank advice often clashed with the self-interest of the court. He then moved south to Chen, a state frequently embroiled in conflict, where he and his disciples faced genuine hardship, even starvation. Finally, he journeyed to Kai, a smaller state where his ideas found some fleeting resonance, but never the lasting commitment he sought. Through these arduous travels, Confucius faced skepticism, ridicule, and even danger. He was mistaken for a bandit, nearly starved and constantly tested. Yet, he never wavered in his conviction that moral leadership and the cultivation of virtue were the only paths to societal order. His itinerancy, far from being a failure, became a testament to his unwavering dedication to his ideals, a living embodiment of the pursuit of the Wei, or Tao, Chinese letter. The gentle rustle of bamboo leaves in a secluded grove. A scholar, hunched over ancient texts, his brush moving with graceful precision. Confucius believed that the chaos of his time stemmed from a fundamental breakdown in human relationships and moral conduct. He sought to restore order not through force, but through the cultivation of inner virtue. One of his most central concepts is Ren, Chinese letter, often translated as benevolence, humaneness, or compassion. It represents the ideal state of human flourishing, the ability to truly feel for others. If you want to establish yourself, establish others. If you want to succeed, help others succeed, he taught, emphasizing reciprocity. Consider a contemporary example, the concept of customer service. A company that truly embodies Ren doesn't just process transactions, it anticipates needs, resolves issues with empathy, and builds lasting relationships, understanding that the well-being of its customers is intrinsically linked to its own success. This isn't just good business, it's good ethics. Another key idea is Li, Chinese letter, which encompasses rites, rituals, propriety, and good manners. For Confucius, Li was not mere etiquette, but a structured way of interacting that cultivated respect and harmony. It provided a framework for proper conduct in all relationships, ruler and subject, father and son, husband and wife, elder and younger, and between friends. Imagine the modern workplace. A team that adheres to Li would have clear communication protocols, respectful feedback mechanisms, and a shared understanding of professional boundaries. This structure, far from being rigid, allows for creativity and efficiency by minimizing friction and fostering mutual regard. It's the difference between a chaotic free-for-all and a well-orchestrated symphony. The concept of Yi, Chinese letter, or righteousness, is about doing the right thing for the right reasons, even when it's difficult or unpopular. It's the moral compass that guides one's actions. A historical anecdote illustrates this. Duke Jing of Qi once asked Confucius about good governance. Confucius replied, "The ruler should be a ruler, the minister a minister, the father a father, and the son a son." This seemingly simple statement, recorded in the Annales Asterisk, emphasizes the importance of fulfilling one's role with integrity and moral purpose. In today's world, consider a journalist who reports uncomfortable truths, even when facing pressure from powerful interests. That journalist embodies Yi, prioritizing truth and public good over personal gain or convenience. Then there is Zhai, Chinese letter, wisdom or knowledge. This isn't just intellectual accumulation, but practical wisdom, the ability to discern right from wrong and to apply one's knowledge effectively. Confucius famously said, "To know what you know and know what you don't know, that is true knowledge." This profound humility is a hallmark of Confucian wisdom. In the age of artificial intelligence, where information is abundant, Zhai becomes crucial. It's not about having access to all data, but about the critical thinking to interpret it, to understand its implications, and to use it ethically. A startup founder, for example, might possess immense technical knowledge, but true Zhai would involve understanding the societal impact of their technology and building it responsibly. Finally, Zin, Chinese letter, trustworthiness or integrity. This is the foundation of all relationships. Without Zen, society crumbles. Confucius stated, without trust, no stand can be established. This applies from the individual level to the highest echelons of government. Think of the modern financial system. Its very existence relies on trust, trust in contracts, trust in institutions, trust in promises. When that trust is eroded, as seen in economic crises, the consequences are far-reaching. A teacher who consistently keeps their promises to students, who admits when they don't know an answer, builds Zen, and fosters an environment of mutual respect and learning. Yet Confucianism has faced its share of critiques. Some argue that its emphasis on hierarchy and filial piety can stifle individuality and perpetuate patriarchal structures. The traditional role of women, for instance, has been a point of contention. However, many scholars like Dr. Tu Weiming, a renowned Confucian scholar and professor emeritus at Harvard University, argue that such interpretations often miss the nuanced emphasis on mutual obligation within Confucian relationships. Confucianism is not about blind obedience, Dr. Tu explains, but about reciprocal responsibility. The father has duties to the son, just as the son has duties to the father. It's a dynamic, not a static hierarchy. The pressure cooker of modern East Asian education, often seen as a direct descendant of Confucian meritocracy, is another frequent target. Students face immense stress to succeed, leading to questions about whether this system prioritizes rote learning over creativity. Yet, the core Confucian emphasis on lifelong learning and self-cultivation, Zhu, Chinese letter, remains a powerful ideal. It's about more than just passing exams. It's about becoming a better person. As Professor Li Chenyang from Nanyang Technological University, Singapore notes, the challenge isn't Confucianism itself, but how societies choose to implement its principles. The pursuit of excellence, when balanced with compassion, can be incredibly empowering. A hushed reverence fills the air as families gather at ancestral temples during the Kingaming festival, sweeping graves, offering food and burning incense. The vibrant red lanterns sway gently in the breeze, illuminating the streets during Lunar New Year celebrations, symbolizing good fortune and prosperity. Confucius passed away around 479 BCE, but his legacy was far from over. His ideas, initially struggling for widespread acceptance, eventually became the bedrock of Chinese civilization. The Han Dynasty, centuries later, enshrined Confucianism as the official state ideology, establishing academies to teach his classics. This marked the beginning of a profound influence that would endure for over 2 millennia, shaping governance, education, ethics, and family life. Today, Confucianism is experiencing a powerful resurgence, not just in China, but globally. The proliferation of Confucius institutes around the world, though sometimes controversial, speaks to a global curiosity about Chinese culture and philosophy. These centers promote language learning and cultural exchange, but also subtly disseminate Confucian values. In universities across the West, courses on Chinese philosophy are increasingly popular, attracting students seeking alternative frameworks for meaning and ethics. Consider the story of a young entrepreneur in Silicon Valley, Sarah Chen. Growing up in a Chinese-American household, she initially rebelled against what she perceived as the strictures of tradition. But as she navigated the cutthroat world of tech startups, she found herself returning to the Confucian principles of Ren and Zen. Building a company isn't just about the product, Sarah explains. It's about building trust with your team, your investors, and your customers. My grandmother always talked about doing things with heart, and I realize now that Ren in action. It's made our culture so much stronger. Or take the example of Master Yuan, a Taoist monk living in the Wuding Mountains. While Taoism and Confucianism are distinct philosophies, Master Yuan believes they are complementary. Confucius teaches us how to live in society, how to be good citizens, good family members. he muses, his voice calm amidst the mountain mists. Taoism teaches us how to be in harmony with nature, with the universe. Both are paths to inner peace and wisdom. He often refers to Confucian texts when advising his disciples on matters of ethical conduct and social responsibility. The enduring power of Confucian thought lies in its practical applicability. It offers a framework for navigating human relationships, for fostering a harmonious society, and for cultivating personal virtue. It is a philosophy not just for scholars, but for everyday life. It asks us to consider our roles, our responsibilities, and our impact on others. It encourages self-reflection and continuous improvement. The idea that everything would have more validity if instead of being American, I were a little old Chinese man, is not about abandoning one's identity. It is a thought experiment, a playful invitation to broaden our perspective. It suggests that by adopting a mindset characterized by humility, a deep respect for accumulated wisdom, and a long-term view that transcends immediate gratification, we might gain profound clarity. It's about recognizing that wisdom often emerges from experience, from patience, and from a deep connection to the past. The rhythmic clatter of mahjong tiles fades into the distance, replaced by the quiet hum of contemplation. The ancient plum tree, still blossoming, stands witness to the ceaseless flow of time. Perhaps the true validity lies not in being one or the other, but in integrating the best of both, in seeking wisdom wherever it may be found. What ancient perspective, what shift in your own lens, might transform your understanding of life?